What's up, world? This is your boy, Coach EV, aka EV the Geeker, and welcome to another episode of Talking Hoops in the Sip Live. That's right, Talking Hoops in the Sip, the Big House edition. Man, I'm telling you, this has to be the most explosive show of the year as we got a star-studded lineup. I'm as excited as I can be. I just don't know what to do with myself right here today. But anyway, let me bring in the veteran, my partner, the co-host, Mississippi Hoop Report, Lavelle Shoes Johnson. What up, Shoes?
What's up, world? What's going on, folks?
Hey, Shoes.
Tonight,
man.
Tonight we here to talk hoops.
Yeah, tonight, man. Part two. We got some players. It's crazy in here, as they say. We got Derek Moore, 5-time state champion from Coahoma County High School, the Red Panthers. We got Anthony Carlisle, the young legend, 6 titles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what he counted the other day from Yazoo City. And we have the veteran guy that's been coaching longer than most of us been alive from Hattiesburg, Ernie Watson. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
All good.
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing well.
Now, Coach Watson, I'm out to get. There we go. We got to get your thing. Shoes, let's jump. Let's start. We're going to start with you tonight. Shoes, let's go. Give us a little brief. Talk to us about, you had the overview of the Big House. Let's go through what you had in your Mississippi Hoop Report, the plays of the days, all of that. Let's go through that tonight. We'll start off with that.
Well, I'd like to do a recap of the tournament, do some, just some awards, some games, what the best game was, the fans that really turned out, and just give a couple of, give some shouts out, some awards, as I call them awards, and then I do an all-tournament team. I've been doing over the years. The last couple I hadn't done it, but I wanted to get back to it this year. But I was disappointed. The one category that I couldn't figure out who I was going to use, I just left out, was best dressed coach. In the past, it was always somebody that came in there super dapper. I just didn't feel like we had that this year. Y'all guys, those common dress guys, put on your sweatshirts, put on the tops, and come on in there and do it that way. Wayne, Brent, and them guys, they dapper. I ain't no dapper guys this year.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't have the Wayne Brents of the world today with the bell bottoms on, huh? And the suits. We had Derek Moore with his famous hats, though. He had the hat going. He had his hat going on. We had the young legend. He had the fresh red The City shirt on, and then we just had Ernie Watson. Ernie Watson just kept it simple. He's in his coaching attire. He's been doing this for a while. It was just, it was crazy. It was just interesting, Shoes, to watch all three of these, phenomenal coaches as they, coached each game and went through the emotions of every game. But before I go on, I forgot to do this. I always got to do a shout out my sponsor, to our sponsor, Tatum & Wade Law Firm, located right here at 124 East Meade Street, Jackson, Mississippi. They are real lawyers who get real results. But what do I say, Shoes? If you want to get paid, you got to do what?
Go to Tatum & Wade.
Got to go to Tatum & Wade if you want to get paid. So anyway, but the one thing that I'm going to start with my homeboy. See, y'all don't realize, Shoes, I'm from Clarksdale, Mississippi. And at the end of the day, I grew up there, and Coach Moore was a young pup when I was living there, and he wasn't even he wasn't around. I left there. I went to Higgins. That was my last, when Higgins was in the 9th grade. That was the last year I was there, back in 1984. And so Coach Moore was still probably running around at Riverton, or let me see what was around. George H. No, he wasn't going. He was going to Lion, Roundaway. Was you going something like that? Roundaway?
Sherry. Now you get to my point. I'm at Sherry. I was at Sherry.
Sherry. Okay, yeah. So But back then, as I was saying, I think I might have been saying on the show yesterday, the county back then was probably third fiddle, probably when I was growing up, to Clarksdale High and Aggie. Aggie had that great team with Chris Brunt in 1986, Chris Brunt, Eddie Vayton, Carl Curry, Marvin Furge, and Tim Pollard. They went 32-0. They beat Shelby Broad Street 8 times, with one of those games being an 8-4 score. And so, and I remember once I had left Mississippi, there was a young man by the name of Rayburn Johnson, I think, that came through the county, where Ira Peterson, Coach Peterson won a championship. But Coach Moore has just taken the thing to a whole nother level. He's one of the few coaches that coach in our state. He coaches girls and boys. I know he used to. I don't know if he still does. And I know he's taken the Lady Red Panthers to the title as well. Coach Moore, we appreciate you coming on tonight. Coach, talk to us about how have you been able to, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way when I ask this question, because this you take a team that is a bunch of athletes, really, who are really football players, track players, and maybe a few basketball guys, but you put them together to make them basketball players for at least a year. How do you talk to me a little bit about that, and how you get that done?
Well, believe it or not, it may just seem like that, but those guys actually can play. But the biggest thing about it is, just getting them to lose self, because some of those guys can actually get 25 points a game, believe it or not. But, it's about just losing self and playing within the system, and playing, doing what the team needs versus just going out, I'm going to drop 30. That type mentality. So, we just give them to buy into what we're doing. Once we give them to buy into what we're doing, it's money.
Well, I'm telling you, every year you get them to buy in, because I'm telling you, you're right. You usually don't have a superstar guy. Maybe, when I think about over your 5 championships, and Shoes probably can be a little bit more than me, and I'm sure you'll name some, but Ben Galmore comes to mind. He was a very good player for you. I remember, this kid, and I forgot his name. He was a basketball player who actually went to Coahoma Community College and played football, about 6'4" athlete. His sister played too. What was his name? Huh?
You're talking Markevius Phillips.
Markevius Phillips, loved him. Just a flat out goon. About 6'4", played basketball and football. I thought he was going to be a basketball player in college, but ended up going to Coahoma on a football scholarship. And it seems like you have guys like that every year. And every year we can almost count on Coahoma County being in the big house. Tell me exactly, Coach, let's go back. When did you first start at Coahoma County? And how long have you been coaching? And and just give us a little kind of like a breakdown of your career.
I started at Coahoma County in 2004. Started coaching in 2005, where I was coaching junior high, and I was assistant to Coach Isaiah Peterson. Did junior high boys basketball for like 10 years. We did pretty well in junior high basketball. In fact, we were, out of those 10 years, we played in the championship game 7 of those 10 years, winning 5 of those. Then I branched over to girls in 2000, and I think it was 2010. Actually, it was 2008. And of course, I'm still coaching girls now. Went to the championship game a couple times there, but we didn't win it. Started coaching high school boys as the head coach in 2015. Yeah, that's correct. So I've been doing girls and boys now, high school girls and boys for the last 8 years. So.
Well, I know I got to put you on the spot here. Give me, we do that, and then I'm gonna let Shoes. Matter of fact, before I put you on the spot, Shoes, go ahead and ask him something I know you want to ask him about the county. You gotta unmute yourself, Shoes. You gotta wake up. You gotta wake up, Shoes. Yeah, I know that cowboy logo in the background kind of messing stuff up, but to see if
I got a phone call. I got a phone call. I muted. I got a phone call and muted. Ask me the question again.
Okay. What's your thoughts on, I said, what's your thoughts on the, you've been around for a long time, and you're a Delta guy yourself. What do you have to ask Coach Moore or just share with Coach Moore about the county, some things you've observed?
I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this. You gotta ask him about his guys. You say you got football players, track guys, but no, Coach Moore has had some basketball players. Coach, what was the other guard that played with Gal Moore? I can't remember his name right now. You had two guards on that team that were really pretty darn good.
Markevious Holmes.
Phillips, and I'm sure,
Markevious Holmes.
What did you say?
Markevious Holmes.
Yeah, Markevious Holmes. And then
Jay Sean.
The first team, you had the big kid that left.
Yeah, that was
kid that left on the first team, and he was really special.
That was Jay Sheldon Yates.
California. Jay Sheldon Yates. He's had some real basketball players now, Coach.
Yeah, I remember the big.
He hadn't had just football players and athletes. He's had some guys, but like I say, Markevious and Galmore were a heck of a backcourt. Both of them were small, but they were a heck of a backcourt. They were quick to shoot. They were really good. I guess my biggest question, Coach, is what do you think lately has been your formula for
about 6'5"? He played for you.
I'm blanking. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Okay, yeah. Okay.
My fault.
What would you say, Coach, has been your formula for continued success? Because you've done it with a bunch of different guys. I mean, what's your feeder program like? What's your what do you got going over there that's helping you feed these guys, continue to get these guys that's playing at a high level?
Well,
because everybody else seems to go up and down at times, but you've been steady.
Well, for one thing, we play a lot of junior varsity games. Like every time we schedule a regular season game, we play a junior varsity game, and that way we keep those guys on the floor and keep them acclimated to playing in front of crowds and that kind of thing. And those football players, those athletes y'all mentioned, those guys are the ones that's easy to mold. They come in not expecting to drop 20 and 30, but they come in looking to make hustle plays and stuff like stopping the other team. I can get those guys to do those things. So it works out fine. That mentality of I don't have to score, but I can do something else to help the team win. We got a lot of guys that buy into doing just that.
What's your middle school program system like down up there?
Well, of course, my assistant coach is my middle school coach, and they actually they won the championship. Not last year. Yeah, it was just last year they won the championship, the junior high championship. So we actually have lots of championship in our junior high program. So junior high program is pretty solid. We used to have an elementary league, but they canceled our elementary league, and that was when we were really up and running. But they canceled the elementary league, and now we just basically have to, feed them over. Do what we do over the summer and get them involved in middle school. But our middle school program has been very, very successful.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Coach, man, we appreciate you. We want you to hang around. We're gonna move right along and talk to a few other coaches. We'll come back to you because I gotta see if we can set up at the all. I'm gonna be doing a Geekers Classic next year, and I gotta figure out. My own first thing I'm asking publicly right now is I need to set up the Yazoo City Coleman County game. I just need to get y'all need to hold that schedule out for me right now. So we got 11 championships in that thing.
It's funny. My son say he takes Coach C earlier today. That's funny. My son is my assistant coach. He say he takes.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember him tough. He won. He was on part of them championship thing. Played hard. Dog defender. Played hard. I remember him. Still got the same hairdo. I remember him. I saw him the other day on your bench. Well, let's switch over. We're gonna go over to the young legend. I call him the young legend. Coach Anthony Carlisle, who I admire. When I first met this young man, just been around for a long time. Played for and has a legendary father, Coach Carlisle, another, Coach Carlisle, the real legend. We got the young legend and the real legend. And so, Coach, again, congratulations on winning your 6 with 3 different teams. Let me ask you this. You won 6. Is this the most special out of all of the, I got to put you on the spot early. I'm putting the pressure on you real early because you demand, you that type of guy. Is this your most special one?
Right now, it's probably tied with the first one at Velma. In a couple of weeks, it may move up. You can't get this one without the first one at Velma, So, but this one, it was special because of, doing it at home. The program was, at the complete bottom when we came in and tried to take it over. So just to be able to get it to that point, and then not only, when you win, you got to go through a dynasty in Raymond in order to get it done, and then on top of that, like I said, we finished number 1 in the state. And that's probably the first time even my Velma team didn't finish number 1 in the state. So when you add all that up together, I think in about another week or 2, man, this one probably be one of the better ones.
Well, I tell you, everybody was always talking about the other teams. You had pros. This year, you've developed really good basketball players, and who knows, you may have if Hoover keeps growing, you may have another pro, but it won't be as obvious as those other guys. And let's just face it, Quindarius Weatherspoon, nobody thought. Like, I remember Quindarius, when I saw him play, Malik Newman was the hot name. Nobody knew at that time, well, at least we didn't. The majority of people knew that Quindarius was going to be with Golden State and win a world championship, and even though he was going to be a great player, he was a great player all the time. And, Robert Woodard, he was like, it wasn't just guaranteed, but, at the end of the day, you develop. They still had to be coached. And so our hats off to you, for just a phenomenal job that you've done. Shoes, I'm going to let you jump in here and go at the young legend.
Coach, you wanted that number 1. It looked like everybody bought in. I see 3 polls are out. You've been number 1 in all 3. We waiting on SB Live to come out here, but all 3 of them you are. So how's how does that make you feel? To be able, I know you've been out there before. I want to say you finished number 1 with Columbus. You might finish number 1 with Columbus, and
we was 2
with Velma. You were right there at number 1, huh?
We were 2 with Columbus behind Olive Branch.
That's right. Olive Branch was that year, but so this is really your first number 1 finish, right?
Yeah, you gave us number 1, I think, with Quinn them, but like with Clarence Ledger, Capital One Sports, and everything, like this the first time where we've been kind of like basically number 1 in multiple polls.
Yeah, and it's generally coming across almost as a consensus. So how does that, what does that do for you? The program make you feel they finally make them to get that accomplishment on your resume.
It's like God was waiting till I got back home to shower us with everything that you've been working for at other programs, man, and just to see the confidence in these kids, just since winning, like they eager to get back to working and that kind of thing, and that's just one positive thing that I think that not only they needed but the community needed as well.
Let me ask you this. This is what I knew I had something I wanted to go to. You have been, and I'm guilty of this. You have been, I've watched you. And when I first watched you, I was just like, man, Carlisle finna play this slow down ball. He finna just slow this thing down. But I have watched you over the years, and I've been able to appreciate a little bit more. It's not so much that you do have a methodical style. You're going to play a certain way. There's no question about that. But you do allow them to run. What I was so impressed with, the most impressive thing I saw that you do, and my respect level even went up to a whole nother level. I watched you play against MRA at Snacks Classic. And there was a thing where Winston was going to work, Josh Hubbard was going to work, and it could have easily turned into oh man, we finna just come down and jack. But your team was so locked in on moving the basketball, and just running your stuff. How did you get your kids to do that? Because that's a skill. Now I'm not gonna always say, one of the things I don't like is everybody say, oh man, they're so disciplined. And my thing on this is, and they are disciplined, but my thing on discipline is, just because you pass the ball 5 times don't make you disciplined. Discipline is whatever the coach wants and they do it, that's discipline. If I want you jacking up 43s, that's discipline too. But how did you get your guys just to move the ball, man? They move the ball so well until they get just the right, they just get the right look. How did you do that?
I mean, it's not anything that's a set design or anything. We just preach to them about sharing the ball, playing together. And to be honest, we probably don't work on offense as much in practice as, you would think. Like, most of our time is spent on defense. When we are conditioning in August and kind of start doing some things in the gym in September, for about a month, we just do defensive only drills. That's the only thing we work on. And, as the season go on, we'll put in some things offensively, but we just try to get those guys to understand, just make the ball change the floor 2 or 3 times. Don't jack up, just a bad shot. See if, sometimes I have guys on defense that can't guard a lick. So when you take a quick shot, that help us out because I get to hide that guy for a few possessions. So we just tell them move the ball and just take a good shot. So a lot of times in practice, we just try to identify, hey, do you think that was a good shot? Know your shot, and what we're doing offensively. So guys are in the gym, they're constantly working on their shot. And, I tell them just play out the offense. That's all I ask you to do. Whatever we run, I give them the freedom to call what they want to call. And, and like Winston, it wasn't like, hey, shoot the ball. It was just, he felt like he was open and he shot the ball.
That's awesome. We're going to come back to you, Carlisle. We're going to move on. Go ahead, shoot.
Let me ask you something, though, Evie. I was going to ask you something there right quick.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Edward.
So, over the years, you've been known as a zone guy. But this team, I mean, especially the championship game, you really played a lot of man. You all were good at it. When did you kind of transition from that zone? We talked about it in the past. You and I talk a lot. We talked about it in the past. You were telling me your philosophy using the zone. When did you kind of get this transition from that zone team to this strong man-to-man team that you showed us in the championship game?
Just getting better. Like when I was at Belmont, we were so bad offensively that it was easy to go in and work on the zone for 20 minutes and then spend the rest of the time developing Quindary and those guys, where we're doing a lot of skill development. We're working on a lot of offense. And that's what we did for those years while we were over there. We'll just play zone. So 20, 30 minutes, that's over with. We done worked on defense. Now let's spend the rest of this time working on offense. And that's how we was kind of able to develop those guys and get them to the level, it was in them, but we was able to bring it out of them. And a lot of people remember Quinn them when they were 2015 against Malik, but they didn't see the year when we didn't win but 13 games, or the first year when we won the championship where, we struggled to score a lot of times those games. And once I went to Columbus and got a little more size, we kind of mixed it up. We played man and zone there. And then this year, I just felt like we had a good group of guys that, wanted to play defense. We could switch basically 1 through 4. And we wanted our defense to be able to create some offense for us. And, and then at the same time, like you say, I get the flack of playing the zone. I get the flack, say we play slow. I say we just play good defense and teams don't shoot the ball as fast, which that's on them. And then, we don't do this, we don't do that. You're going to hold the ball against Raymond, you're going to play zone. And it was like, it was purposely designed to do the complete opposite, to show that I can do anything multiple ways. If I need to play man, we can be good in man. If we need to play zone, whatever we do, we just going to try to be the best at what we do.
Well, you definitely proved that. There's no question about that. Whatever you.
I'm gonna say this, EV. I know he gets the rapper playing slow, but I've been watching him since he was at Bama. Yeah, he struggled to score that first year. He's never held the ball like his dad did at times. He's always played ball. He just is like you say, they play for a good, really good shot, so they don't come down and jack shots a lot. But he's always moved the ball and played ball since he was at Bama. They never just come down and held the ball. They run an offense that tends to may eat some time off the clock before they get the shot they want. But I've never felt that he plays slow down ball or holds the ball.
Well, I'll tell you, Shoes, he's one of the best I've seen at it. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. And Coach Carter, we appreciate you. Just hold tight. We're going to come back to you. We want to first of all, thank Larry Wilson and Ashley Sutton for jumping on. Coach Ashley Sutton with the Callaway Lady Chargers, head coach of the Lady Chargers, and Larry Wilson will be getting to you guys. But we're going to get to the veteran, Coach Ernie Watson. I'm just going to tell you myself, Coach Watson, made it a point to let me know he watched the show where I picked him to get in the championship, but didn't pick him to win. We picked Pro Mine. And so we had to go with the hometown people. But man, I'm telling you, I was just overjoyed because here's a man that has been to the big house many times to come up empty. And Coach, talk to us about finally, I read an article where you said in 2010, your late wife said that Hattiesburg would be the place you got the gold ball. Talk to us about the emotions. Just talk to us about how it really felt when I watch you over there. You're so funny to watch on the sideline. You're cool, calm, collected. Hey, telling the guys, hold on, game's not over. Like I've watched you just walk the sideline, act like, try to show no emotion. Talk to us about when that clock went down. There's a time you said, you finally got this thing. Give me that emotion before you knew that I'm going to win me my first gold ball. Tell us what went through your mind at that point.
Probably went through my mind at first was the thought of my late wife saying what she said. The prediction came through. Taking the hands off the steering wheel, let God drive it. I was in all kind of peace and I was in all kind of calm. And I tell you, it was just totally different emotions that I've never felt before, even though I've been there as many times as I have. And, we should have won it, I know 2 or 3 times to get there and to win it while we was there. But it was just, it wasn't meant to be. It was the patience that has not been taught yet, have not learned yet. Hats off to these young coaches that do it and win it. I admire and respect them because they do it the right way and they got talent to do it with. And then you mix that talent in with the players that they have and the coaches that they have, the coaching skills that they have, it just precedes it. So, we've been fortunate to finally get a group of kids that believed in what we were telling them. I got a tremendous staff. I got years of experience, and I try to tell them, when you go into this big house, when you go into this situation, this is how you got to handle it. This is what you have to do. And they just finally listened. I mean, they just took it and ran with it. So we were happy for them, and we were happy for our city. And, those old school guys, they know Purvis Short. Young guys might not know them, but that's the last time that they raised that gold ball.
Let me ask you.
I got to tell you a story about the conversation today.
Say it again.
Let me say this. I got to tell the story about the text conversation we had today. EV, I really coming into the season, I expected Ernie to be pretty good. And I was thinking about ranking him in my preseason ranking. And I gave him a call just to chop it up with him, talk a little bit about his personnel. Man, he sold me a bill of goods. And I bought it. He sold me, we don't be that good. We got a lot of work to do, this and that. I said, well, I'll let him earn his way in. You sold me a bill of goods. I'll never listen to you again, Ernie.
Yeah.
I'll never let you
I
get
learned
me again, Ernie.
I learned that from Senior Carlisle. You know, he always did that. He sold on Wolf tickets better than anybody I know. They always were no good, and then here come January, February, they knocking the block off. You know, they beat the clothes off of you. So, and another old coach too. I just remembered him from another interview. Was old Delly Robinson. He was another one, boy. That joker there would lie, tell stories, and that ain't no good. I can't beat nobody, and then you end up in the Coliseum whooping folks. So, you know, I learned from them cats. You know, you just don't show your hand. These young guys, you know, they brash and they're bold and they'll come at you, and you have to be ready for them. So, you know, they're not hiding nothing. So I want to sit back in the cut. I don't want to be the target. You know, I just want you to understand you coming in and we're going to play hard, and whatever happens, happens. But, you know, we're going to give you a game. So we're not going to bow down. We're not going to be afraid, but we're going to play hard. We're going to do what we have to do.
You know, Coach, tell me this, and Shoes, you may, but I'll ask you first. And then I want to ask, I know years ago, and I wasn't here at the time, they used to have what they call the overall state championship, or where all the winners play. Tell me your thoughts, Coach, on that. Do you, well, first of all, I want to know, there's a two-part question. Would you want to see that happen again? And then the other question would be, why did they stop? And maybe Shoes, you can answer that too. But Coach Watson, would you like to see like the overall like state champion, like bring that back?
Yeah, the overall state champion was good. The thing about it was done after the championship games. They were struggling with who would sponsor it, and Tupelo took it over, I think, for the last time. They did it, and they did an outstanding job with it. I mean, they had some stuff going on, but what it was doing, it was holding the players over. Some schools didn't like that, holding the schools over for another week, and they wanted them back. You know, football wanted their players back, baseball wanted their players, the spring sports wanted their players back, and so they were saying basketball was dragging on too long. And so there was sponsorships, the money, and then of course holding on too long with the players. So it was a lot of politics in it, but it was a good deal. I mean, you finally knew who was number one, is the best team in the state. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It brought some nice crowds and had some nice talent, and it was a real nice event.
Well, let me say this. Let me see your take on this. Let's say hypothetically you would have won the overall as well as your state title. Do you count that as one of your state titles? Would that be counted as one of your state titles? And I'll tell you, an old coach who does count that. So would you
might as
count?
well. I mean, you go through the gauntlet once, and then you go through it again. You have to get up and play, because you know you just won the state championship, and you turn around, you have to play again. Yeah,
So
I mean, you got two titles.
Coach Moore, would you count that? If you won the overall, would you count that?
Probably not.
Okay. Coach Carlisle, would you count it?
No, I would.
Well, Shoes, would you count? What's your thought, Shoes?
I'm counting it.
You count it.
I think if you win it, you won two. You won two titles.
Hey, you know who counted it, right? Who am I? Who you know counted it? Our guy, Luther Riley.
You know he counted it.
Luther Riley counted his. And I think I was talking to Coach Brent, because I think Coach Brent said he won one, but he never counted it. He never counted it as that. So it's just interesting, school of thought that that you would. Let me ask you this, Coach Watson. You were up Picayune big, and let's just face it, you had a third quarter collapse like so many people. You know, teams have had. They went on a 17-5 run, up 4. You had a collapse earlier like that against Brandon. I guess you were up 20, lost that game. What went through your mind? Because, you know, I was sitting over there on press row, and I had some fans right behind me. And you know, and at first it was like yes, and then it went from yes to Ooh, the air was sucked out, but you guys, found. Tell me, how did you get the guys to come back after that? The game is made a run. Tell me what you told them.
Well, the thing is, all teams go through it. You go through lulls in games, you go ups and downs, and you want to try to stay consistent as you can in a game. But when that happened, when they punched us in the mouth and they came out at us in the second half, after the timeout, we had a timeout and we called a timeout. I just asked a simple question. I just told them, I said, you're not playing like you normally play. All you got to do is just play like you normally play, and you'll be fine. You're not digging in and you're not grinding. You're throwing them the ball. They're not taking it from you. And all you got to do is just do what you do normally to get us here. And that's all I told them. And then the guys took over from there. I got one of them dogs in that huddle, and he went off on them. And, the choice words I can't say, he used them. And they woke up. It's like a spark that's got that lit in them. And then all of a sudden, now they're in them, and now they're grinding, and now they're guarding them. And that's what turned it around.
Who was the young man who's going to Colin? I don't know his name. To me, he's the dog of all your dogs. He had 4 fouls. And
that's my dog.
That's
my dog. That's the one I told you about a couple of weeks ago. I said, that's him. I said, I got a dog that'll guard you, that'll get into you, that's going to make them do right. Going to make the whole team do right. He leads the team from first day. That's Malik Walker. Jabbar Walker is his legal name, but we call him Malik.
Y'all kind of threw me for a loop in the program when you put him in there as Jabbar, because I was so used to him, y'all referring to him as Malik.
Yeah, he wanted to go in as Jabbar, but that's what we call him, Malik. I've been calling him Malik all his life, and no, coach, my name is Jabbar. I said, okay, well, we'll write it in Jabbar then, but you're gonna be Malik tonight. So he's got a split personality, I guess. I don't need Jabbar on the floor. I need Malik on the floor.
So you need Malik. Now, let me ask you this, Jabbar. I see a couple. I think you got a couple of your guys on. Is Jabbar in there? Is he on right now? Because I see some of the Hattiesburg guys.
Oh, really? Let me look and see. They might be. Ain't no telling.
Nah, Jamar at work, coach.
Okay. That's Devontae.
Introduce who we got here so we can and give me their number and tell me.
Who you got? I know I got Devontae.
I think it's Steve McCullum on here and Chris.
Okay, you got Chris on there?
Yeah, Chris and Steve on here.
You got number 12 and 11 on there. My two little guards.
Where's number 11 at? Where's number 11?
On there. Where is he showing his face? Let's see if he's showing.
Can we see his face? Is he on there?
I don't see him yet.
He must have popped off. Who's not?
Yeah.
The other one's number 12.
The other one's number 12. The one that guarded. They're a good little player.
Right. The guy he knocked down a couple jumpers too.
Yeah.
Can you show your face, number 12? We'll go number 12 until. I see DJ on the thing.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting on him to come back on. Give him a little minute.
All right. Well, we're gonna come back to him. Let me. We're gonna come back to Hattiesburg. Get the guys. So get them guys.
All right.
We doing this. I'm gonna go over to Ashley Sutton and Larry Wilson. They didn't have the coach of Coach Sutton, coach of Callaway Lady Chargers, and Coach Wilson, assistant coach. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. You?
Is there any way we can see your face, please, ma'am?
Yes, I'm fixing it. Hold on.
What up, Larry? Coach?
What up, Coach? What's going on? Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah, we can hear you well. Listen, at Coach Sutton, we're gonna get right in. I want to jump right in and say again, congratulations on a phenomenal season. You guys, let's just be honest. Well, for those of us in the media and those of you got a chance to watch you play, we knew that you guys were going to be good. But it's like y'all got there maybe a year before we thought you was going to get there. When did you know? Did you know, obviously you knew you were going to be good. You've turned the program around. It's been phenomenal. What you've done. I watch you obviously at Northwest middle school, and you just did a great job there. Didn't lose that I know of a game over there. When did you know that you were going to be able? When did you realize that you said, man, I know we on a 2-3 year plan, but when did you know, like, man, we can go ahead, we're going to up this ante and get there this year? Coach Sonny.
Okay, yeah, it was froze. But you said, when did I realize?
Yeah, when did you realize, man, we can get to the big house this year?
I knew when I first got the job, honestly, that it wasn't gonna happen that first year. But then the second year, we was reevaluating some things and then scouting basically the other competition. And that's when we knew. Honestly, like you said, a lot of people, almost everybody, didn't believe that we could do it this year. Everybody probably thought we had a chance, but they didn't see it happening this year. But I know 2 people that believed that it could happen, and that was me and Wilson. And we just went from there.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, I call them the 3. You can call them whatever you want. The 3 Musketeers. Those 3 guards that you got. I mean, they're really, really good. JoJo, Jarnay Ringo, and Anissa Branson, who can shoot the cover off of it. You got them coming back. And then I saw that and I was telling people, I said, they're missing a young lady who had like 15, 16 off the bench. And to be honest with you, I thought that hurts your scoring off the bench. What's the young lady that didn't play that was the MVP of over at maybe a snacks event? What was her name?
Megan Wallace. And that was one thing that hurt us going into postseason, that it just out the blue, she was declared not ineligible to play from her doctor because she has migraines. And so on her last MRI, it was a spot shown on her head, and the doctor said the next hit could be fatal.
Oh, yeah.
And so we kind of lost her during the district play.
Yeah, you lost.
So that was right before district tournament.
Yeah, I watched. I was saying, I was like, she doesn't look injured, but we our prayers are out to her because definitely her health is more important than anything. But that was definitely, you felt, we know that I felt that loss because I seen the girl. She's kind of has a no nonsense attitude. She just, man, she jacking up shots, just going in. She ain't afraid.
And she's our defender, on ball defender. She can defend the length of the floor. She can turn you 5 times before you get to half court. She's our fast breaker. She gives us at least 10 points a game, our fast breaks.
Yeah, that was a big loss.
Losing Megan really, really hurt us going down the stretch.
Right. When you look going forward, one thing I noticed, I mean, the girls obviously, one thing that what I like about you, you want the girls playing all the time and they like to play. You can tell they like each other, and that's a big deal. Especially in it's big deal in anybody, but especially in girls basketball. I coached on the women's side at Mississippi Valley, and I'm telling you, you don't want the women not getting along, and so it's very important. And I could tell you just, the city, the Callaway fans, everybody. Go ahead, Shu.
I'm hop in while you're saying that, and I want to, expound on it because, I remember when she first got the job, I went over there and called some games, but they were calling some games where you actually saw the team. But there were times I saw her with her girls out and about. I'd go get something to eat. When she and her girls come to get something to eat, I've seen you all in different places. She just had a bond with those girls in a way I saw it coming, because she had a real bond with those girls and she put in time with them. And I could tell that they believed in her and were close. She was developing a closeness with them. And that goes a long way to success when the kids believe in the coach and everybody, and they have a bond. But I want to say that I kind of saw that developing. I don't know if she remembers the times I'm talking about. I saw her out with them or whatever, out and about with her. or the eating establishment or whatever. But those things, I kind of noticed that when I saw it, that I just picked up on that she and the team were really developing a really good bond. And the biggest thing for any coach, we've heard Carlisle say, we've heard Coach Moore say, we heard Coach Watson said, when you get your kids to buy in, and believe in what you're trying to do, that is one of the most probably the biggest attributes of any winning program.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that's one thing that I'm big on is building relationships. Even as an Algebra 1 teacher, I was 7th grade at Northwest, and they wondered, how could the scores be this and that? And the key is basically, like you said, is relationships. They're not gonna play for you if they don't know you.
No, they gotta believe in you.
Absolutely. Yeah, they allow her to get up in her, man. Ooh, she got up in her, man. I saw a couple times. I was like, wait a minute, coach. Hold on now, coach. This ain't you can't be Anna Jackson now. You can't be Thomas Billups. Hold on.
It's funny.
EB, that's her pawpaw. If Shoes may know her pawpaw, he go way back, and they talk about how rough he is. So that's all that is, EB. And I didn't know her pawpaw, but I know him now because I know her.
He was mean.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Coach Wilson. Obviously, you have a daughter who's, arguably, was no question one of the top players in the state. Just a phenomenal point guard who can really play the game. Talk to me from a parent perspective. I want you to shift. I know you coach and you've coached with Coach Sutton all along, but as a parent, when you look back and put your, because obviously you're the father of JoJo, talk to me what it's like when, for your daughter to have someone like Coach Sutton coaching her, your daughter.
It's not that much of an age difference between them, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it from the big picture, it's not that much of an age difference. I think, maybe 10 years. And so she's able to relate to these young players, probably very similar to how Coach Carlisle is able to relate to some of his players. And Carlisle kind of come off a bit more old school than young school, and probably because of the influence of his father. But she's been able to connect with those younger players. And you guys talk about the buying in. And if you look at it, EB, the players that we've had for 3-4 years, they've bought in. We've only been at Callaway for 2 years. And so, as we continue that, then those players that have been around us for 3-4 years, now they have that opportunity to buy in as well. So it's exciting because she has the tangibles to connect with the younger generation, but she also got an old school sensibility to herself. And some of that comes out, like you said, on what you see on the sidelines. And I try to kind of rein her in a little bit, and she's gotten better. But but it's a beautiful thing to watch. And I gotta say this as well, EB, while I'm talking. Coach Carlisle and Coach Watson, I've learned a lot. I always tell Coach Sutton and a lot of the young ladies in the game about being a sponge. And it's absolutely amazing. And the coach from Kahoma, when we got to the Coliseum, they was actually playing, and I was so impressed with Kahoma County. And they might not necessarily get a lot of the coverage that some of the other more well-known programs like a Raymond or like some of your programs off the coast or Callaway boys, but I was very impressed with Kahoma County. And always have been impressed with what Coach Carlisle has done. And Coach Watson, I remember Watson coming in behind Coach Brent at Probert. I was still in high school at the time. So now Coach Sutton and I are coming behind folks like this. And for this to happen in year 2, we don't take it for granted, because a lot of folks say, oh, well, they sophomores and, y'all will have another shot. But I'm sure it's a lot of coaches that'll tell you, it ain't, don't take it for granted getting there. Getting there is one thing, winning is another. So it's not set in stone that you're going to get there. So when you do get the opportunity to get there, I think you want to take advantage of it. So obviously with our sophomores, we're hoping that we have a few more opportunities to try to get back there. And I had to give credit to Wes Jones. You know, that coach, she been down there. That's one of the things we said. Those seniors, Coach EV, they lost in the semifinal as juniors last year. And Wes Jones coach, she been down there 3 times before winning this year. So it's a different type of preparation. And we feeling it right now. We going through it right now. And we going through it right now. And so, you know, you borderline crazy, borderline preparing for that next opportunity, because the last thing you want is not to be prepared when the opportunity presents itself.
And, you know, Shoes mentioned that. Shoes, talk to us about what you mentioned about the Wes Jones. You put that in your report that, what was the coach's name, Wes Jones?
Sharon Murray.
Miss McGee.
Sharon Murray.
McGee. Sharon Murray. Yeah, Sharon Murray. She's been there a while. She's lost. This was her 4th trip to the finals. But like he said, she was in the semis last year. She lost in the quarters. She's been hanging around the state tournament the last 8-9 years continuously. And she finally broke through and got her one this year, you know. So, I mean, when I was writing about, you know, Ernie and giving him all his flowers about, you know, how much I respect him and everybody respects him, I couldn't do that and not at least throw her some love also, because she's, you know, not to the extent he's been through it, but she's been through a similar trials and, you know, and tribulations trying to get that championship. So
I want to she's Wes Jones alumni. She went to Wes Jones as well, Coach. So, you know, that's she's an alumni, and you know, so it was something special for her. And congrats to her. You know, they've been solid the whole year, and they were solid in the championship game. And we just got to get credit where credit is due. Wasn't our best night by far, and especially how we played in the semifinal, Coach. So we was definitely looking forward to having, you know, a very good game. And they defensive pressure just took our sophomores and juniors and our seniors. They did what they wanted to do. And it's a lesson learned for us.
Coach Watson, can you pop back on, because I wanted to ask this, and then I'm going to ask you, and Coach Moore, if you could too, I want to ask this question. Coach Watson, what advice would you give to Coach Sutton, you know, as someone, you know, me and Coach Brent were sitting on the sideline watching the games, and we were thinking about you guys, especially, you know, Coach Sutton and Coach Wilson and Callaway, and all the teams that get there for the first time. And you always say, oh man, I can get back. It ain't guaranteed. You got to win. You know, the goal is to go in and win then. And so, Coach Watson, talk to us. What advice would you give someone who's lost several? You know, I can't ask Carlisle this question because he hadn't done it yet. So
he gave me hope.
You don't know what it feel like. Carlisle don't know what it feel like.
Man.
Coach Watson, give her some advice, and those who may be watching the show, on how you persevere through that, you know.
Well, the hardest thing is to understand your journey. You have to have the journey and understand what your journey is about. So when you start off your season, you want to make sure that Coliseum is the focal point. You have to gather your wits, gather your thoughts, and you have to really put a team together to understand that, you know, there's going to be certain teams that you got to go against to get there. The way the bracket falls, the way the state comes out with the bracket in the middle of the season, once that bracket comes out, you got to start mapping it. And you got to start looking at these teams, and you got to start getting stuff on them early, because you need to see everything that you need to see. My situation this year was, you know, we've gotten beat, we bounce back up, we get back on, and then we start mapping. For example, this year we mapped out Vicksburg, Canton, and Provine. Those are the 3 teams in the north that we start mapping out. I think we could have played anybody in the south. I thought we was pretty good. I thought we was going to be okay. But then we start mapping out the northern teams. And when I say about mapping them out, I go way back to film from, you know, pre-football, football. I get film on them in December. I get film on them in January. And I start looking at them just briefly. I look at about 4 things that I look at that I turn the film on. And when I do that, I have, you know, like 9 films on them. And and we start planning. And who's the guy? Who's the man? Who's doing what kind of style is playing or whatever? And we start mapping it out. So now once we go through the bracket, and this is a good advice for Callaway next year, is to sit there and make sure that they know these Southern. You know, I understand that Jackson likes to play in Jackson, but sometimes you got to get on out of there now. You know, Carlisle, you know, that's why he's the GOAT. He came down here to our tournament, and choose to tell you, we had some heat in that tournament now. We had, you know, Horn Lake, Starkville, Natchez in that thing. And we have some real good teams in there. So you don't come in there and you got to feel that fire a little bit. You got to put your kids through some stress. And once they go through that stress, they can have something to remember back that they're not afraid of, or they're not scared of the situation or the moment. So that's the biggest thing going that Coliseum. You just can't be afraid of the moment.
Coach Moore, I
got to say this. Coach Watson's put together one of the better holiday events in the state over the last 6, 7 years, 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know how long they've been having it down there. I make it a point to get down there and see 1 or 2 days of his event over the holiday period, because he always has teams, some high-level teams. He has a really good turnout in a competitive tournament. He's put together one of the best holiday events in the state. And then he have a good hospitality one too.
We know that's what you're concerned about. Coach Moore, I saw you shaking your head when he was talking about mapping it out. Talk to us. Is that part of your strategy as well? And tell us, Coach, and forgive me for not knowing this, what's your state championship record? Like, how many times have you been there, Coach Moore?
You gonna jank me. As a head, 5-0 as a head.
5-0 as well. Okay, man. Hey man, I believe in the Bible. The Bible says death and life is in the power of the tongue. I don't believe in janking nothing.
I got you.
We're gonna just keep winning, man. But tell us, you talk about mapping out. Tell us your, a little part of your strategy as well.
Well, as a coach, you got a feel for your team, and you know if they're special or not. And if you got one of those teams, you feel it's special. You know, it's not called being big-headed and arrogant and looking past anybody, but if you got one of those teams, you're gonna look ahead. You're gonna look out there and see who the competitors are, and get a feel for them. And as Coach said, I got 4 brackets that I filled out, and I snatched film up on everybody, and I was taking notes on everybody as the season went along. And you have to map it out like that. If you don't, then you're doing your team and your community a disservice. And that's just facts. You just got to map it out like that.
Carlisle, talk to us about your process and how you is it similar? Is it, I'm just, because it's important as, Coach Sutton, who's, actually in her 20s, I think. Are you in your 20s, Coach?
That's 26.
Right. 26, a little younger than my daughter, Matter of fact, when I see you again, I'm gonna put you across my knee. But anyway, just to let you know. But Coach Carlisle, in the Young Legends, what are you, Coach, 35?
I'm 38 now.
Oh, you're 38. Okay, you got to 38. Talk to us about how do you prepare, for the most part, when you have a team, like you knew this team was gonna have a chance at it. Talk to us about your process.
Like you take this year, for instance, we felt like in the North that Pontotoc was probably like one of the better teams in the North. So then we try to identify, who's next. So like now, like you said, technology, man, with Huddle, and I think I had a couple people I knew maybe played Pontotoc. I had got film on them. I didn't watch it as much. But like sometimes if we were off on a night and they was playing on NFHS Network, I might pull up their game and watch a quarter or two just to kind of see what they look like. But like our district tournament this year, when we played on Tuesday and Friday, me and my assistant coach, we actually hit the road that week. After we won that Tuesday night, we went to watch Pontotoc that Wednesday night at Itawamba Community College, just to see all 4 teams in that division, so that we knew we were gonna get one of those corn division. So we knew we were gonna get one of those and possibly get the other one at the Mississippi Valley game. So then that Thursday night we drove up to South Pontotoc and watched all 4 of those teams as well, so that you have some film on them, but also you want to get that eye test, because sometimes on film a guy don't look as tall or look as big or look as fast. So when you get a chance to see them in person, then you're like, oh, okay, they're not as big as I thought, or they're the same size as us. So we'll have a little film on them, but if we can, during that district tournament week, with people having alternate schedules, if we can get on the road and go watch, we try to do that just so we can get the eye test.
People, I'm honored to be in y'all presence, man. I've been coaching for 30 years myself, and I'm learning stuff. I'm like, well, y'all got me excited in here. I mean, y'all, the young legend, the veteran, Coach Moore. I mean, man, it's a wealth of knowledge, and anybody that is watching this, and I would encourage you. I mean, the blueprint has been given, because at the end of the day, we have all the, obviously Coach Moore and Coach Carlisle hadn't lost. That's one thing. But then you have a man that has lost and has learned how to overcome. And that is powerful. I mean, we learned, it's a lot been said here, tonight. And that's I'm just impressed, man. I really am, because we have some elite coaches. I know there are other elite coaches in the state that we don't have on here today, but our state can be proud, of you, and our hats off, to all of you. Shoes, you got something that you want to add?
I do. I got something I want to add.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey, Shoes. Coach Washington.
I'm tired of looking at Shoes' background. I just wanted him to see this right here. I just want to see that red and gold, because that background he keep putting up there in the front. Them losers there. I just want to show you a championship team right here. So I just want to let them know that now. Let them know. Now I can go. I ain't got nothing to say about nothing else now, because I'm tired of looking at that Dallas Cowboy crap.
I come up with this background tonight. I knew I was gonna start something up with. Carlisle said something before we got on good. Now you over here. I knew I was gonna start something up.
You need to take that down. Serious business. You need to take that down.
No, never.
I'm telling you. It's a dang shame. But look here, I gotta go. I gotta ride to Jackson tomorrow. We got our executive meeting for the Coaches Association tomorrow. So I gotta get to Jackson. I gotta get up early in the morning, ride with Tony Woody, head that way. So get to see these great coaches up there.
Well, Coach,
so I'm gonna sign off.
We appreciate you, Coach. We appreciate you for coming on. And again, congratulations, and we're just so excied for you.
Appreciate it. Hey, don't shortchange me no more on your shows now. Okay?
I definitely
Coach, when they shortchange you, that's when good things happen.
That's it. You're right. You are right. Because let me tell you this before I go.
I was the one telling him you could win it. That's what made him pick you. I was the one telling you could win it.
Okay. Well, anyway, Evie, I played your clip to my guys. I showed it to them. And so they use that for good motivation. In fact, they had a couple of text messages going around about that. They didn't even pick us. They just had Canton and Promine in the finals. So that's okay.
But no, I had you in the finals. I just didn't have you.
I'm going, Coach.
Yeah.
I didn't have you winning, but I did have you in the finals.
Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Anyway,
I'm gone. Y'all be good.
All right,
Coach. All right.
All right. Now, Javante, do we have any of the players? I know they've been kind of on for a minute. Who do we have on?
I think we got Chris Moody and Steve McCullum on, and Darren.
Okay, let me see where Chris is not on. Darren, is that the 6'7" kid?
Yes, sir.
Darren, what's up, man?
What's up?
Can we see your face, or you just?
It says something about unable to access camera. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, listen, let me just say this. That was my first time seeing you play, and I'm telling you this. I've coached at Jackson State in the SWAC. I've coached on the girls and boys side. There's no question in my mind. In my opinion, you're a Division I player. You're Division I talent. That was my first time seeing you. I loved everything about you. and it was just, talk to us about how this feels, winning one for Coach Washington, winning one for yourself. Obviously,
winning one for the city of Hattiesburg.
Talk to us how you felt as a player.
Actually, it was really unreal because it's just been a goal we've had since 9th grade and a goal we had since the beginning of this season, ever since we lost last year to Florence and how close it was. And we knew that we had everybody coming back. So it was just like that was our main goal. We knew we could get it.
Yeah, it was only Ernie Watson out here, pulling a Lou Holtz talking about, I don't know how we're going to win one, man. I don't know if we're going to win.
Yeah, he got me. He got me. Guys, I was going to rank y'all in the preseason. Your coach talked me out of it.
Hey, Darren, right now, talk to us a little bit about your recruiting. I know I'm sure you have some JUCO offers and different things. When are you going to make a decision on where you're going to be at next?
Man, I was actually dealing with that a couple hours ago because I was thinking about it probably in like the next 2 to 3 weeks, somewhere around there. I was thinking about doing it.
Have you seen your recruitment pick up a little bit since the Coliseum, because some people hadn't seen you?
Yes, sir. Just a little bit. I mean, I got a call from a college in Ohio earlier today, and then it was Southern called me, Jackson State called me. There's a couple colleges they called me.
Well, I tell you this, boy, if I had a job, I'd be calling you too. Because
appreciate it.
I mean, I really like what I saw. You just seem so, I can tell. I ain't even got to ask Coach Washington. You're a coachable kid. Coaches can see, and this is what I want to tell all young people. We can see, we can identify, we can look at and see coachable kids. We can say, oh, he or she's coachable because of how you act and how you take the coaching. We watch that. And the one thing I can say about all of these teams here, that all of you had coachable teams. Like the coachable teams usually do well. Again, I saw Coach Sutton get in those girls a couple of times, like I said, and she was in them, and she, and I know she loves on them, and they respect her. You have to have that. I seen Carlisle get in them, over the year. I can't say I've seen Coach Moore. I've seen him get on them too. Over the years, I didn't see much. Coach Moore was like to be honest with you, he had a different. Yeah, he had a different swagger, man. To be honest, it was like, I don't want to make Northside mad, but it was like, and I know it's hard to beat a team, 2 or 3 times or 4 times, I think. But it was like I could just they had major confidence shoes. Like, I mean, I thought the dude was finna wear his hat. The coaches, I'm like, dude, this man is finna wear his hat through the game. Like, why did he do it? He had so, but I've seen him, get in and so.
Let me say this to Darren. Darren, we hadn't talked a lot. I was down there in Christmas and saw you guys play. I was down there last year and saw you guys play. You don't know it, but your uncle talks to me a lot. Coach Devin Thompson from
yes,
the coaches that he talks to me a lot. I've been around. I was around when he was playing high school ball. I watched him play, and ranked him and dealt with him pretty good coming out of high school. So I've been watching you a while. EV, you don't realize he played for the Jackson Tigers a lot. He played a lot of ball, a lot of summer ball with the Jackson Tigers, with Larry's team over the last couple of years. Didn't you play with them there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I've been keeping up with you guys. I like what I've seen. I talked to your uncle about it, man. All I can say is, man, take your time, see what works for you, man, and see who's for real, and find the right fit for yourself, man. Find the right fit for yourself. I know you have some opportunities. I think you guys at Jackson and Wynn was big for you and any of the other guys, because let's be for real. Getting to the big house and getting on that stage carries a lot of weight and a lot of, it's the big stage for guys for getting opportunity. You took full advantage of it. You did what you're supposed to take full advantage of it and handle your business in the big house.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
You can just wait, man. I might. Who knows if you could wait like 3 weeks, I might be getting a job somewhere, and then you can just come with me. No, I'm just messing.
All right.
No, man, we appreciate you coming on. I don't know if Chris came on number 11. Is he on, Javante? Because I don't see him.
No, sir.
Okay. Well, let him know. And all the guys, we know the Goon and all of them. We appreciate you guys jumping on. We're getting ready to wrap it up. We're gonna give what we call the last geek. And Javante, if you have anything, tell us Javante, because I just want to give here. Tell me exactly who you are, and so I can so we can get you some words, on here. You here.
I'm the AAU coach. I'm the head coach of Dirty South AAU basketball.
Okay, got you. Me and you talking about me and you talked.
Yes, sir.
Got you. Okay, so number 11 is your son.
No, sir. Steve McCullum.
Okay, Steve. Okay, all right, cool. All right. Well, let me ask you, Javante, being an AAU coach and working with Coach Watson, how did you play for Coach Watson?
Actually, Coach Watson came in my 9th grade year. Coach Watson kicked me off the team. Yes, sir.
Talk to me about it. I mean, that's a great story.
So it actually kind of started off. I was a football player. I played receiver. I was real fast, but I was the kids followed me. I was real persuasive. I could make anybody kind of do what I wanted them to do. So when Coach Watson came in, he had to let folks know that he was serious about his program, that he wasn't just gonna let anybody in the program. So we was at half court, the senior guard. We was in a mega prep together. I kind of know his name, Jamel Michael. He kind of hit me with a crossover and then kind of taunted on me. So I was always a kind of little scrappy guy. We got into it, and Coach Watson really just came up to me and told me like this, man, hey, it's my first year. In order for me to stay, I'm gonna have to get rid of you. And I didn't understand that at the time at all until I got older and kind of got my program and realized sometimes you got to make an example of the best one you have so everybody will buy into the program. And that's why me and Coach Watson kind of had a relationship that me and him have.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That is a phenomenal testimony because a lot of people, man, I get chills just thinking about what you just said because, we laugh initially, but that's powerful that you can come back years later and share with how that shaped your life and you're able to understand it because kids today don't understand that tough love. And so, man, my hat's off to you that you are able to do that, man. And that lets me know that you're doing good things, with you guys. Go ahead, Shoe.
What team are you with?
I'm with Dirty South. You my boy. Yeah, you be down there. I remember you from Jackson. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I called your game.
Yes, sir, a few times.
And I know that I'm always in the gym, but I don't always know. I just be looking at the players, and when I'm calling, I don't always know everybody all the time. But because during tournaments like Eddie's tournaments and Mon's tournament, the Monroe's tournament, man, so many teams come through here. I don't always see them and know everybody, but I remember you guys. I remember I called you that game.
He said he ain't get no calls that game, Shoe. He said he ain't get no calls that game, man.
You know what's going on, big guy.
I'm the ref you can dig down and play with. No blood, no foul.
He always showed love, though. I can honestly say that he get me off the other referees like, hey man, they just let them make it, baby. Just let them make it.
That's exactly how he sounds. That's exactly.
Just let them make it, baby. Just let them make it.
Hey, Shoe say he don't never care if he go to Jackson as a ref. He just want to be a Jackson at that media table. He's all good. So, hey, listen.
I ain't got to go to Coliseum as a ref. I want to be I'm where I want to be at the table.
I'm with you, Shoe. As we get ready to close, we do this thing we call the last geek of the night. So you have anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds to say whatever you want to say about whomever, whatever. So let's start with Larry. You still with us?
I'm still here, Coach. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, go. We'll start with you, then we'll go to Coach Sutton, then we'll go to Coach Moore, Coach Carlisle, and then Shoes, and we'll end like that. So just whatever you want to say, thanks, shout outs, whatever.
Well, look, I just appreciate the invite, and I'm doing what I tell others, which is I'm just being a sponge, just soaking up, all the knowledge that's been presented tonight, and it's not often that people will share with you. So, with the type of platform and forum that you've opened up, we just want to take advantage of it. We youngsters, we rookies in this, Coach. This is only year 2, so at this point, I appreciate you acknowledging us and the support, and congrats to everybody that had major success this year, and good luck with next year.
Coach Sutton.
Yeah, it's pretty tough coming behind him. He normally hits everything for me. But congratulations to everybody, like he said. I'm gonna tell you, Coach Carlisle, going into this game, man, you gave me hope. I said, man, that Phil Jackson Jr., that's what they call you. I said, man, he's 6-0. Well, 5-0 at that point. I said, man, I know I can go in here and get this first one. And so that's what it was. Even when it came down to the gold skirt, Coach Wilson had gold circles in his ties, and we said, man, that's the gold ball. We was just speaking it. And a lot of people, would say it's a year too early. I just say our shots didn't fall that night. We were 7 for 42, and so it's definitely a lesson learned. My chest is still tight. It's still a tough pill to swallow. But even just to be on this call with all of you great people, and we're learning. And I promise you, I don't want to feel this again. And so we're going to do whatever's necessary. And it actually feels good to actually have already been doing the things that y'all said. Like we went and watched West Jones. We watched Florence, Brookhaven. We got film on multiple people, just like that. So it's just good to know that we're doing the right thing because y'all doing it pretty much. And I just appreciate y'all. And I'm always watching. I might not say anything, but I promise I'm always watching those who have come before me and doing a phenomenal job. Keep doing what you're doing because we coming right behind y'all.
That's awesome. Coach Moore.
Oh, I just want to say, thankful just having me on the show, first of all. And just, I want to give a shout out to the Coleman County community, my Mayor Espy, and my Sheriff Jones, also my new superintendent, Dr. Young, to my family. And I really want to give a special shout out to my coaching staff, man. I feel like, in my opinion, I got the best coaching staff, man, that you can have, and that's family. I bank on that. That's my go-to, so shouts out to my family and my coaching staff.
Yes, sir. Young legend.
I want to shout out the coaches that's on here. Coach Moore for continuing to win. Coach Sutton for y'all early success. You definitely got everything going in the right direction. And I just thank you guys for having me on. My assistant coaches, Coach Gates, Coach Morris, Coach Bass, who helped hold me down and do a lot of things that may go unnoticed. Definitely our school district. Thank our amazing fans. And I like to just thank my wife and my kids who, they put up with a lot of, me away during season. And I think like we won the championship Thursday, and then it was like Friday, here go the kids. I got somewhere to go. It was like as soon as season was over. So you go back to being daddy mode and that kind of thing. But they sacrifice a lot of time away from me during season, and that doesn't go unnoticed. Chop wood, carry water, baby.
Chop wood, carry. Tell me what that means.
That's a book that we read prior to the season starting. I read books and that kind of thing. So we couldn't afford to buy each player a book. So the app that I use to read books online, what we would do was we would read a chapter a day. So I would screenshot each chapter, put it in the group message. They had to read it. And then once we come in and finish workouts the next day, at the end of the workouts, they had to summarize the chapter that we read. And if they couldn't summarize or couldn't tell us what happened, then we had to run extra. So it was chop wood, carry water. It was about basically a samurai who went and wanted to learn how to be one of the best archers that shoot bow and arrows. And when he got over there, he thought he was just going to be working on that every day. And the master guy had him just chopping wood and carrying water, understanding the process and, you know, strengthening his arms and just doing the day-to-day stuff that you think that goes unnoticed or doesn't mean anything. And just sticking to the process, not getting caught up in the end goal and what happens and that kind of thing. So there was a lot of tactics that we use with the team this year. Like, don't worry about the college scholarship. Don't worry about winning the state championship, because one of the things they focus on in the book is surrender the outcome. Whatever the outcome is, be able to live with it. So you just continue to chop wood, carry water, come in here every day, do the work that's necessary, and everything else would take care of itself at the end. And what we talked about before that championship game was one of the chapters where they got this Chinese bamboo tree where they plant this seed in the ground and you can water it. You can do whatever you want to that tree, and that tree will never sprout up. It's going to stay on the ground. It's going to look like you're doing nothing because it's in the soil. And then once you get to year 5, all of a sudden it's going to pop up out the ground and shoot straight up to the sky. You're going to have this very big, tall tree. So he's talking about for 5 years, how you're just constantly watering, and it feels like nothing has happened. And then on year 5, boom, here it goes, this tree, you had this big, magnificent thing. So that's what we were talking about in the locker room before the Raymond game. That was my 5th year in Yazoo City. So I'm like, you know, we planted, we've been watering, and we hadn't seen the results that we wanted. It looked like the tree not growing at all. And the night when that final buzz will go off, that tree going to the top. And that's where we're going to be.
Boy, you have geeked me tonight. Chop wood, carry water. Man, I want to go get the book today myself. Man,
Yep.
You find that book at?
Man, I am pumped up and super excited.
Yep.
Chop wood, carry water.
Chop wood, carry water. We made them read it before the season started.
Boy, that'll preach. You know I'm a preacher too, so I'll take a text tonight. Glory. Go ahead, Shoes.
Hey man, look, I just want to shout out to all the teams that won championships, and the teams that made it to the championships. You know, you all had great seasons. You hold your head high. You got a lot to be proud of. Coach Sutton, you brought those girls a long way in 2 years. I know it's hurting right now. You don't want to feel that feeling again, but you got a lot to be proud of. You know, hey, I'm proud. I'm from Yazoo. Like you said, you from Clarksdale earlier. I'm from Yazoo, so I'm proud. I'm proud of that championship Aunt brought home for us. You know, and I know that it's special for him because of his dad. Because of his dad, because of the thing how big his dad has been in Yazoo City and Yazoo County for years. His dad is, between he and his dad, they got 13 championships. I don't know if there's another family in the state that got that many. But so it's 13 championships. So man, I just want to say, I'm sorry the season got to come to an end. I'm a basketball guy. I live in the gym, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself in this couple of weeks. For the last 2-3 weeks, I've been in the gym 3, 4, 5 nights a week, so watching somebody play. So, but it's I think we had a great season, great tournament, great turnout. Hey, I got to make mention. I missed it in my report today because I said I was gonna make a separate category for it. I got to make mention for that crowd we had for the Northwest ranking Brandon game. That crowd was a great crowd. I mean, that crowd was really. I gave Yazoo the kudos and Bloomfield the kudos for their fans turnout. But that crowd for the Northwest ranking Brandon game was a great crowd. It had the Coliseum, not filled to the brim. It wasn't profound enough, but it was right there behind. And I got to give credit to that group. I text Coach Lucky tonight, but he was tied up. I wanted to see if he wanted to come on. Maybe down the line we can get him on. But hey, I think we had a great show tonight, and I'm just happy that we were able to get all these guys on and give them a chance, to get their flowers this year.
Well, I appreciate everybody for coming on. Coach Moore, Coach Sutton, Coach Carlisle, Coach Watson, and just we're going to continue to do this show. AAU student season getting ready to come on. Coach Moore, I want to invite anybody of your, we have a Talking Hoops in the Sip showcase that we do every, at the end of March. And, feel free to send any nominations you have. We're still taking a few just to get some of you guys, looked at on this end. We're going to be at MRA on March 25th. And Coach Sutton, we've already talked. Coach Carlisle, same thing for you. We do our showcase. You may have seen it on Twitter, but we're going to do it at the end of the March. We kind of got a late start, but stuff is coming in like crazy. So feel free I want to just, invite you guys to invite some of your kids in your program. We do it for all classes. So some of them 27, 28, 26, 25 people we may not know about, give them an opportunity. We've had some kids from Clarksdale, Henry Espy. We've had some other kids that played before. So I want to invite you guys for that. But again, great season. Congratulations. And for all the teams that played, this high school season, it was a great year. And let's look to do better next year. And I would encourage parents and kids to take this game seriously. And man, I just don't think any way we can end any better than what Coach Carlisle said: chop wood and carry water. For Coach Carlisle, Coach Wilson, Coach Sutton, Coach Moore, Shoes, I'm Coach EB, aka EB the Geeker, and Coach Watson saying good evening and good night. All right, appreciate you guys.